过 juice 只要过类只要 whatever 还做的样个是那个 chua over the counter the herb the supplement use with caution and then 操好了烟 and control your blood pressure avoid alcohol and then J okay so 头嘛呀被蒙被记住么着哈么 J 叫个叫 J 都那个么着哈么 J 也叫个么呀么咋 so then 但是呢就 maybe 要比了好诶 maybe hot trauma 哈我这边才一有是恐恐诶感觉哈恐个感觉但是有一好个被知道 try to 做哈知道了是被包的被蒙也头也么煮么着只么那么好都好给那好呀也被配上哈的叫到那个给路了叫到那个吧也叫好像叫么呀哈叫孬叫煮是的但是呢被好多人的头发病也被 maybe we are overdoing that but 古上哈个被上证明之下的米都米有的头叫有的是呢要你知道了 don't worry 擦擦你一直你一路路上只三个叫米都有的是呢路路哈的哈要被我了哈也被叫到的波的样个有我去洗的波路也我后来之中也路路波么都有了被也不只哈不得命到唱了个被但是呢 okay so we're going to go to the next slide and then I'll have Dr. Councilman talk a little bit about herbs and safe use of herbs. Again, there's no regulation and we don't know what's in there. So 上次的好，我哋个有时的恐惧多上到多。Okay, next slide. And then the only thing here is what you can do to stay safe. So again, 咖啡 okay, bây giờ cứ sao rồi cam bó, yêu mê kha, bây bao sao rồi hả ta, yêu từ tối nay nó xí lên nó là nó ở lúc đầu right now, kha lên chăng, we can do testing, thử kha được có, của có bao hả ta, chỉ một tay mình, bây giờ một chăng cứ xí khả nó cứ lúc chế giải ra là, so the second bullet point là khả thi do your research, sao rồi của rong, bố hà lại họ bố trọng trình, chỉ nhớ hữu ta, linh thì tôi mua được có, họ bố mua được có họ yêu bố sáng cổ, bán cổ lấy chăng, and then remember you know hà ta bố cho cứ khosana Facebook lấy họ ô tê nó, sai rồi rong họ cứ bố khosana họ, để ra bố tôi chỉ xí, ta chỉ bố khosana, có sai bố your number, để bố tao để Facebook thế nhà được bố, so be aware of that too. All right, we'll go to the next slide. We are not sure if the United States Pharmacopoeia or the NSF agency jurisdiction we can't say how safe and then sai cho label bây giờ mà cũng bù cho chua cứ mua mà tức chỉ bao hả ta cho actually ni cho hả ta bán mò ít gì chứ but there's no ingredients so khơi tao mình chỉ nông sư hả ta cho nhau hủ cho actually ta okay and then if it's too good to be true it's probably not true right ya ha rong hai phong là chỉ giàu gì bây giờ chỉ mua ha. All right, so next slide. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Councilman.
So, thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it. I got very interested in the use of herbs and supplements October of 20. October of 2023 in 2 weeks' time that I happened to be on vacation, so almost all my patients for the last 30 years have been Hmong. And in 2-week period, I came back from vacation to find 5 patients of mine were in the intensive care units at various hospitals around the Twin Cities, all having had holes in their stomach. And having a hole put through your stomach where what's in your stomach leaks into your abdomen can make you really, really sick, incredibly sick. And actually 3 of those 5 patients never made it out of the hospital alive. And I had previously, in 28 years, only had 2 patients. So I thought, something is going wrong. My patients, for that to happen so much, my patients were taking something. Something was putting holes in their stomach. And so I started looking, and it's been a 1.5-year process of trying to figure out what form this is taking. And lately, we found at least one. But this is really important. On Facebook, on YouTube, there are these things that are going to help you be healthier, and you want to be healthier. Unfortunately, some of them have things in there that can make you incredibly sick and ultimately do the other thing, which is kill you, and we don't want that. And this can happen. This isn't just Hmong. I don't think I've ever told May this, but my aunt almost ended herself up on dialysis by taking too much of something she bought at Walgreens. So this can happen to anybody. You have to be careful. If it works too good, there's probably a reason your doctor doesn't know about it, or your doctor won't give it to you. So a couple examples. This is a seed that's sold for weight loss. It's been sold under a variety of different names for probably 10 years. The first time I was introduced to this was because a patient of mine, there's a very small dose of this, and she took a whole seed. It makes sense, right? They sell them in seeds. You eat a whole seed. And she should have taken much smaller than that. And even though she was in the cardiac lab, where it's the best place in the cities to get your heart restarted, her heart kept slowing down, slowing down, slowing down, and stopped. And they could not restart it, and she passed away. And when I went and looked this up, there's a number of, it's legal. You can buy it on Amazon. It's legal in this country, but other countries have forbidden it because if you take too much, it can just slow down your heart until it stops. Let me have you switch. Everybody wants to lose weight. Let me add myself to that category. Can you go to the next one? And we all look for easy ways to lose weight. We try to do what May does, and then we look for easier ways. And for years, 30 years, there's been detox teas, and they used to just contain senna. And we use senna to help people have regular bowel movements, or if they need to clean out their bowel for some reason. And lately, some patients and some colleagues have asked me about some better detox teas, but that they were hearing complaints of people getting heart symptoms. Their hearts were pounding, or they just didn't feel like their heart was right, or their doctor told them something had happened to their heart. And some of these detox teas have stuff in it that we used to use for weight loss back 25 years ago, but we took off the market because they could cause heart damage. They also contain some stuff that can actually make your heart pump really hard, and for some people, maybe that's okay. It's certainly, but if you have any problems with your heart, it can give you a heart attack. So there might be a medicine we might use in some people, but we look at, is it safe for that person? And so, again, if it works too well, there's probably a reason your doctor's not using it. We love medicines that make you healthy. We want to keep our patients healthy, but we don't want to do bad things. And there's been, let me have you go to the next slide. There's been recently a lot of things being sold in the market for gout, for appetite, for energy. This, I believe, is what has put my patients in the hospital that October, because the month before, the FDA reported on this tea containing 2 medicines. So I went, because a wife brought this in and said, my husband's taking it and I think it's making him sick. And she described it and I thought, this is what I'm looking for. So I used, do any of you ever use Google Translate? I use Google Translate and it tells you all these nice herbs, and I'm like, should be fine. But I trusted this patient enough and what she was telling me to then search a picture and FDA, and found out it has these 2 medicines in it that's not in that list down there. The piroxicam is an arthritis medicine. I used it 30 years ago. We don't use it much anymore because it's very hard on the kidneys and it's a high rate of causing ulcers in the stomach. And then another medicine, dexamethasone. Again, we use it some, bad allergic reactions. We use little tiny doses for very short time, sometimes in gout. Arthritis, your back flares up. We may use very small doses for a very short time. We would never combine those 2 because they both can cause ulcers. So you put the 2 together and you could take it for a week because your gout's giving you a hard time, and I don't want gout. Gout hurts. But it can put a hole in your stomach or make your stomach bleed. And then something that they advertise to you as healthy is making you really, really sick. Let me have you go to another one. This is another one they're selling. We're waiting for the testing from the state for this, but I'm suspicious because you can't really see the picture, but it has pictures. It's supposed to help your gout. It's supposed to help your energy. It's probably got the same things in it. I'll tell you to watch for. If you take a medicine, an herb, if you take it, and these are sold as tea bags. I used to tell my patients, if it's a tea, it's fine. They're putting it in the tea bags, so I don't know how to not take it unless they're certified by those organizations that May says. If you start something, an herb, a tea, a powder, and your face gets swollen, it's got something bad in it and you need to stop. The problem is that dexamethasone I said makes it very hard to stop, and in fact can make you really sick when you stop it. So you think, well, this medicine's working good for me because I feel horrible when I stop it. I'm gonna let you go to the next slide. Because we all have, most of us have heard about thyroid glands, but we have 2 glands in our body that most of us don't know about. And those are adrenal glands. They sit on top of your kidneys. And they make a hormone that keeps your body running, really. Keeps your heart beating, keeps your blood, it tells your body to work. And the problem is that dexamethasone is similar to the hormone it makes. And so, if you have a kid and they're a teenager or a young adult and you give them everything they need and they don't have to buy their car, they don't have to pay for their insurance, they kind of lose the ability to do anything themselves. Your adrenal gland's kind of like that. So if you give your adrenal gland dexamethasone every day for 2 weeks, your adrenal gland's gonna say, oh, hey, this body doesn't need me, I'm gonna stop working. And you stop the tea or the powder and you feel like you have no energy at all. You feel like you're going to die, and it's because you've shut down that adrenal gland. And in fact, I tell my patients, if you try to stop this and you feel like you're going to die, don't stop it. Cut it down or come talk to me and I'll switch you to a safer form and then we'll take it down. Because we all need our adrenal glands. We don't want it too high. That's what stress does to it. That's why we're all feeling sick lately. We've had too much stress. but we also need our adrenal glands to work when we need them to, and if we get them to shut down and they don't work, we feel very sick and actually can get in the hospital and they don't figure out why we're so sick. I think that's the last slide. Oh, yes, this is the other thing, GI bleed. So the two medicines, the paroxetine, both of them, the dexamethasone thins the lining of your stomach because your stomach's full of acid. And so you have a lining in there that kind of protects it because you wouldn't pour acid on your skin, it makes holes. Or you pour it on your tablecloth, it makes holes. So the dexamethasone weakens that lining, and then the medicines like the piroxicam or ketoprofen, or there's a whole bunch that you can find over the counter, including in Walgreens. They can sit in your stomach and put a hole. So if you get a hole in your stomach, that's an ulcer. And we've got medicines for ulcers, but if your ulcer is because you're taking something that's putting a hole in it, the medicines don't work to stop it. And if that hole gets bad, it either bleeds, and sometimes you can lose all your blood through your stomach if they can't stop that bleeding. And I did have a couple patients in the last few years who had that. Or it puts a hole all the way through and all that stuff leaks into your abdomen and you get sick, you get fevers, you get infections, and it can take, if you get well from it, it can take months. So I'd encourage you to be careful, be really skeptical of the stuff on Facebook. The fact is, when people were living in communities, in villages, where there was somebody knowledgeable about herbs, they knew what